Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Please, can you hear me? Um, just give me a second.
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Good
Afternoon.
afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're joining us from.
Sorry, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to start now. We have data science program starting by 12 p.m. Nigerian time. Of course, Nigeria and UK, they're using the same time now. So we have project management and AI engineering starting in the next 2 hours. But we're going to start data science bootcamp today. Now, pardon. So we want to get more people to join the call. But while we're waiting for others to join us, we are going to move in and start with our introduction. Right, so welcome to Amdoranalytics bootcamp. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get more people to join us. Let's get more people to join us. All right, so please share this link, share with your friends, your family members, everybody around you. Just share. It's a free session. You're going to be learning something new, and you're learning it for free. You're not paying for it, okay? Thank you very much for joining. So in today's program, I'll be your host, right? And we have our facilitator. My name is Chinyere Chukuka, and I'll be your host for this program, right? So before we dive in, I want to welcome special people, want to welcome people that are joining us for the first time. If you know that today is your first time joining Amdoranalytics program, please can you give us a thumbs up? Just your favorite emoji, just type in, or you can type, right? Or you can just use your digital hand and give us a thumbs up. Okay, read one. Okay. All right, so let's get people. If you know that today is your first time joining Amdoranalytics, please give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much, Temi Tokwe. I can't pronounce the other name, but thank you very much for joining us. Everybody, thank you, thank you. I can see many people joining us for the first time. Thank you very much. So we are going to be learning something very amazing today, especially for those of us that are interested in the tech ecosystem, but we are so confused on which career path to choose. Am I to choose data science? Do you think that data science is something I can do? I know you have heard a lot about data science, like, oh, it's coding, it's difficult. I don't know. But now we're going to show you how easy it is to transition into data science. Okay. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be having data project management by 2 p.m. That is next 2 hours. So today is full of package. Like we have a lot of things for you. So if you know that you want to go home with something today, don't leave Amdoranalytics platform today. Don't leave Amdoranalytics platform today. After the data science, if you're like, okay, I'm not that convinced enough to go and register for data science program. Let me wait for project management. Maybe you don't want to code, you don't want anything that would stress you. Then you need to join data science project management program in the next 2 hours. So please, we want to beg you, if you have anybody that you know that needs this knowledge that we are sharing today, share our link. Just share with them. Tell them about Amdoranalytics and let them join. All right. So, like I said earlier, my name is Chinyere Chukuka, and I will be introducing you to Amdoranalytics. Let's dive in. Okay. Let's talk about Amdoranalytics. Amdoranalytics is an edtech company, that's an educational technology company. If you know that today is your first time seeing Amdoranalytics anywhere, like maybe somebody just told you about Amdoranalytics and you'd be like, okay, I want to know what these guys are up to. So sit down and hear about Amdoranalytics. You are hearing from at least one of the team members, okay, about Amdoranalytics, what these guys are up to, what they can do, and thereabouts, okay? Sit down and listen, right? Okay, so Amdoranalytics, like I said earlier, we're an edtech company. We're an educational technology company. So what we do is what I'm about to tell you now. So we are committed to empowering individuals to become global talents through our comprehensive and accessible training programs, right? Through our comprehensive and accessible training programs. Now, our mission is very simple, very, very simple, very, very simple as an edtech. So our mission is to bridge the skill gap by equipping learners with in-demand skills, enabling them to make informed decisions, drive innovation, and create positive change in tech-driven world, particularly across the African continent. Now, What am I saying here? We want to make sure that people of the Black community, that's the African continent, right? We all have hands-on experience in learning the in-demand skills. Okay, when we talk about the in-demand skills, what are those in-demand skills? Someone reached out to me this morning, and the person said, "Oh, Shinyere, I want to transition into the career path like you guys mentioned earlier in your live yesterday, but I don't know which one to go for. I think cyber security, but there's this new law inside in and thereabout." I said, "Guy, what you need is in-demand skills." Right? If you learn any of these skills, you will highly see there's no way you cannot work. There's not sectors that you cannot work with. I am in Nigeria and I work with a lot of sectors. I mean, a lot of sectors across the currently working with one of the biggest logistic company in the US, right? So I work with a lot of sectors. There's no way you cannot be and work as far as you have the in-demand skills, right? So with track record of success, we have helped over 8,000 people. We have helped them to successfully transition into tech. All right, now we specialize in training individuals in data analytics, business analysis, cyber security, data engineering, HR analytics, AI engineering, project management, and data science. So what we do every Saturday is to bring people, is to tell people about the tech and introduce them to the what they need to know before transitioning into the career path. Okay. So last weekend we treated data analytics. Right, so we did data analytics bootcamp last weekend. So today we are going to be looking at a lot. We are starting with data science. Now, why are we doing this? We're doing this because a lot of people they transition into a career path and they find it difficult to finish. Right, they find it difficult to excel in that career. That's because they miss out the first-hand information about that program. Right, so what we do here at Amdoranalytics is to introduce you to this career path free of charge. Right. And after this program, and you feel like, okay, I need one-on-one consultation with either myself or any of my team members, trust me, you will have us, we'll come on board, have that session with you, tell you everything that you need to know about each of these career paths before transitioning into it. Thank you very much. So we have our facilitator here. Redwan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so Redwan is our data science facilitator, an amazing person. I mean, very, very amazing person. So Redwan is going to be taking the other parts. So let's stop sharing. Redwan, please over to you.
Okay, just a minute. Okay. Yeah, I believe my screen is visible. Hello.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good day, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from. My name is Ridwan Yusuf, and I will be your guide through this session. Sorry about that. Okay, I work as a data scientist and machine learning engineer, and I also, facilitate data science classes here at Amdoranalytics. So the essence of today's bootcamp is just to, give you like clarity on why you should choose data science over every other career path, right? Now we have many career paths that one can actually go into, depending on your, should I say, interest and okay. So depending on your interest and depending on maybe even your background could also contribute. So you could, think about all of these things before trying to venture into a career path, which are we have so many of them in today's world. So the essence of this whole session is just to give you clarity and why data science. So basically today we'll cover these 6 concepts. What data science is all about, what data scientists, what they do. I mean, like the day-to-day activities of a data scientist rather, and the whole core process behind data science activities. Because when you have a project to work on, I mean, how do you approach this particular project? Then the fourth concept here is beyond the code. Now, what do I mean by beyond the code? You see, a lot of people, they look at data science and they be like, oh, I have to code, I have to code, I have to code. And I think I also I don't want to say made the same mistake when I was learning data science, but because the reason why I actually joined data science was because it involves coding. So that was why I joined. Then that was why I actually learned data science. Then I learned and I realized that it's actually more than coding. I mean, coding is just like I don't want to say 1/3 or just one aspect of the whole data science, the whole stuff in data science. So it is just a part. We have a lot of things that the data science actually entails, which might actually interest you. Also, today we'll be looking at a simple hands-on demo. Now, the hands-on demo is not to introduce you guys to coding. I mean, it won't be. I don't expect you to understand the code just yet, but it's just to show you how we approach some of these problems and how we actually tackle it. Then there will be Q&A, right? You ask questions, and hopefully I'm able to provide answers to your questions. So now let's look at the big picture. So when we say data science, what do we mean by data science, right? What do we mean by data science? What does data science entail? Is it just coding? Is it just modeling? Is it just you looking for insights? Is it just, I mean, is it just there? Is it similar to data analytics, like a lot of people say? Is it just a machine learning? Is it AI engineering? Is it there are lots of similar parts actually. So the definition I have on the screen says that data science is the art of turning raw numbers into stories that help people make better decisions. Now, the end goal of a data scientist or a data science project is not just for you to code. It's not just for you to build a model. It's not just for you to derive insight, because whatever thing you do, whether as a data scientist in the industry, or whether you are just working on a project, if you are not helping people to make decisions, then you are not doing anything. You are not really doing anything. You are just, I think I can say you are just there. So the end goal is that we are trying to help people make better decisions. And how do they make decisions? It is from the insights that we derive from our data, right? Because the starting point of most of data science projects is the data. You need a data. Then there is a saying that you have to beat your data for it to give you some insight. So after beating this data, and by beating, I would simply mean you exploring the data. You do a lot of data exploration. You trying to derive insight from your data. So after doing all of this process, you get some findings, right? Now, after getting these findings, you have to communicate it. You don't just keep your findings somewhere. If your findings is if it doesn't go outside of the project you are working on, then you've not done anything. You can write 1,000 lines of code and you've actually not done anything. So the big picture of data science is just that you're actually solving a real problem. You are solving a problem that needs to be solved, if that makes sense actually. So I have these three pillars that I have listed. The first thing is you ask smart questions, right? Let's say you get should I say a project to work on, or you get a data set, and you don't just you don't just start exploring, right? You don't just start going through the data set without actually knowing what you are trying to solve. You need a problem. I mean, you need to define the problem that you want to solve. Are you trying to make predictions? Are you just trying to derive insight from your data? Are you just trying to find patterns within the data? So you have to define your project. You have to define the problem that you are trying to solve. So it is this problem definition that will now give you the steps, that will give you like the walkthrough to follow. Right now, after defining the problem, the next thing is that you understand the data. Basically, what the data does is that we use data to actually solve the problem that needs to be solved. So you understand the data, meaning that you go through the columns that you have the data. What these columns what are they telling me, right? What are these numbers that we have in these columns? What are they telling me? What are the entries in these columns? What are they telling me? So we call this data exploration, right? We call it data exploration, where you go through your data set, try to understand everything you have in your data set, try to basically you just understanding that data set, right? Now you've understood the data set, you have explored, you have make predictions, you have make recommendations. The next thing is that you have to communicate your findings. You have to communicate whatever findings you have made in your data exploration or in your machine learning modeling or whatever you have done, because even the best project becomes unusable if you can't communicate the findings. You have worked on a clean project, you've solved a real problem. Maybe you notice that in a certain country they have wildfire. Now you're not trying to predict when wildfire would happen, for instance. You have worked on this project, you've done your data exploration, you've done all that needs to be done. If you can't communicate what you found, then it becomes, then it's more or less like you've not done anything. You could say you have not really done anything, right? So then you communicate your findings and you are good to go. Now, a day today in the life of a data scientist. Now, this slide and the next slide is actually how do I put it? It's motivated by me personally, because I remember when I started working as a data scientist, I made, I think it was like 3 or 4 months after working as a data scientist, I made a post on the social media that I thought the whole data science stuff is just we building models and making predictions. Because as at my 4th month into working as a data scientist, I just realized that most of my projects that I've worked on do not even involve machine learning modeling. They are just me trying to understand the data, me sending emails to the project lead, sending emails to some stakeholders and the like. So when I started learning, I thought, okay, after learning the whole stuff, get a job, then I started writing algorithms. After learning the whole stuff, I get a data set, and the data set is perfect. But it is actually much more than that. It is a lot more than you just writing codes, you having a clean data set, or you just coding in Python or how. Okay, so the first point I have here is that the might is that you write complex algorithms all day. But it is not true, right? There are days that all you need to do is just build documents, right? You build documents on how to approach a project, and you could spend the whole day working on just documents. You just okay, you have you trying to understand the problem, you trying to now break the whole problem into steps, and this is not something you do one-off. It's not something you do at once and then you are good to go. No, it is an iterative process. You could write a document today, then tomorrow you realize that, okay, something is missing. You fix it tomorrow. Then you realize that, again, okay, I need to make changes here. Then you still fix it when when you need to. So it's not something you just do at once and then you call it a day. No, it is iterative. And there are times that, the project requirement could change. So you go back to that document and then you refine whatever documents you have made. So we don't just sit down all day on our computer and we start doing rewriting algorithms or we try to train models. No, we try to understand the problem that we want to solve. Then there's another assumption, which is that whatever data you are given will be perfect. I mean, it would be ideal if our data sets always come clean. I mean, if you have a project that you want to work on and the data set it's perfect for what you need. You don't need to clean, just start doing exploration and that's it. But more often than not, your data set would be dirty. Now, when we say dirty, it means that your data set would contain a lot of inconsistencies. I don't know if you've filled a questionnaire before, or if you have given out some questionnaires, you realize that there will be some fields that, let's say, for instance, you ask for age, for instance. So some people can decide to just write, let's say, this person is 35 years old. Someone can write 35 as in the number. Then another person could write 35. I mean, spelling THIRTYFIV. So these kind of values, they are inconsistent and you need to clean it. And another person could maybe mistakenly write 135 or write 700, for instance. So, I mean, if 135 could actually still make sense, but now imagine someone that wrote 700 where you are asking for age. I mean, you agree with me that it actually doesn't make sense. So you have to clean these data sets. I mean, you have to, and again, some data could be incomplete. Maybe you need salary and the person filling the questionnaire omits that particular part. And this salary is needed for whatever project you are working on. So a lot of time, your data set would contain a lot of inconsistencies, to contain a lot of invalid values that you can't even work with. So you don't just start working on a project like that. You have to clean your data set. You have to, you have to clean the data set, and that's what we mean by you cleaning a messy data set. Okay. Also, another assumption is that you only work with Python or R. You only work with Python or R. Now, Python and R are the main programming languages for data science. But again, like I said earlier, there are days that I don't even open my my VS Code. There are days that what I do is I just attend meetings. In fact, some people, I remember some people called me meeting man, because most of the time I'm just on meetings because I have some findings to communicate. I have some slides to share, and I have some spreadsheets to work on. I have some emails to reply. So we don't just do coding again. We don't just sit. Maybe you work at 9 a.m. 5 p.m. Between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Maybe you could write code for 30 minutes or 1 hour, and every other thing you do would be trying to understand your data set, if it's on the spreadsheet, trying to reply emails, trying to attend meeting, and if you have slides to present, you also make this presentation. And then the last assumption that I have here is you working alone on the computer. I think this one it's even more pronounced here, because we are in a digital world, and jobs like data scientists, you don't have to be confined to a particular location for you to work as a data scientist. So you could be alone in your, maybe at home, or maybe in your workspace, or maybe even if it's a physical, what do they call it now? What's the place of remote? A working, that you have to go every day. It could be with your computer, you working, but you are not alone, right? You are not just there working in isolation. No, you work with a team. collaborate with your team, collaborate with stakeholders. And by stakeholders, I mean people that actually own the project, people that contract the project, maybe for you as an individual or to the company you are working on. So the company you are working with. So we do this a lot of time. And so when you are now coming to the world of data science and everything or your assumption is that the only thing you have to do is write code. And some people, when you go online and they tell you what do I need to learn to become a data scientist, they tell you need to learn Python, you need to learn SQL, you need to learn machine learning. Some would even add maybe Power BI. I've seen those kind of work tools before. These are actually good, but they don't cover the whole of it. So they are like the technical aspect of it, but we also need the non-technical aspect of it. So you can't just do the whole technical part and just call it a day. You have to also understand the non-technical part of the project. Now, take for instance, what's the essence of you learning Python? What's the essence of you learning machine learning? What's the essence of you learning SQL? And even maybe even Power BI for visualization if you can't define a program. You are given a data set. You know all the all the Python that there is to know in the world. You know all the SQL that there is to know in the world. You can train a model. You can tune a model. You can do whatever it is with a model, but you don't understand the problem that needs to be solved. So how will you do this? With how will you even clean your data when you don't understand the problem that you need to solve? So I want you to see these slides as a mix of the technical parts that you need to learn and the non-technical part that you need to, even though it is not pronounced on this slide, but that's just the whole idea behind it. And it's, this particular slide, it's actually, again, it was motivated by what I do every day. Now, how we spend most of our time. Again, this is not the standard, but this is just from what I've seen. In fact, you could copy this heading here. This how data scientists actually spend their time. You could copy it and then paste it on Google. Then you realize that the answers you find would actually be very close to this. The answer you find will be very close to this. Now look at the modeling and algorithms, which is, I remember when I was learning data science, when we started, we did Python, we did SQL, then a lot of us then, we didn't really take Python serious, we didn't really take SQL serious. We were just looking forward to how to train models. But in the actual sense, that is like I don't want to say the simplest part of the job, but it is one of the, it is not, you don't spend a lot of time working on modeling. Now, take for instance, you could train a model for 5 days. For instance, you train a model for 5 days, you fine-tune the model for 5 days. Now, when you do modeling for 5 days and algorithm for 5 days, believe me, you would have spent much more time doing your data cleaning and doing your data preprocessing. You would have spent much more time doing exploration and analysis, and you would have been involved in a lot of meetings. Now, what do we do at data cleaning and preprocessing? Your data is coming from a particular source. In fact, there are times that your data set won't come from a single source. It should come from multiple sources. Now you have a data set coming from multiple sources, and you want to collapse this same data set into one that you can actually work with. Believe me, the data set won't be readily usable for what you need. So you have to transform it for what you can actually work with. So even if it is coming from a single source, there will still be some elements of inconsistencies in that data set. So how do we now correct those inconsistencies? Take, for instance, you ask someone, what is their date of birth? For instance, I think I used age earlier. You ask someone, what is their date of birth? I could say my date of birth is 28th of August 1990. Now, I can write 28th of August 1990 in different ways. You could write October 1, 1960 in different ways. Let me use this as a guide. Yeah. So someone can say this is their date of birth. Another person could say this is their date of birth. Another person could say, I don't want to use August again. Okay, this is October, this is August, let's say 27. In fact, I could have it like this, 1995, 27, 12. You could even, I think these ones are even easy to work with. You could have 10/08, 2000. Now, these are valid dates, right? So you could have this combination. I mean, because I actually remember working on a project that has its date columns like this, and it was hell cleaning that data set. So now these are valid dates. Now look at this last one in particular. Is this 10th of August 2000 or 8th of October 2000? So yeah, you have to spend a lot of time working on this, because when you mix it up and you translate this as 8th of August at 8th of October, where it is 10th of August, or you translate it as 10th of August, where in the actual sense it is 8th of October, then there will be some elements of you could make a wrong interpretation about your data. So we have many more like that. So you have to clean that data. You don't just start, you don't just take your, in fact, you can't even go anywhere if you don't clean your data. If you don't clean your data. Or let's say, for instance, you ask, you are taking a survey and you ask someone how much they spend daily. One could say 2.5. Another person could say 12,000. Another person could say 3,000. So now these are also valid values, but for the purpose or for what you are doing, they might not be ideal. Take for instance, this one has n, and what you need is values. It's numerical value, so you have to clean this. This one has comma. I mean, it looks fine if this other was to have their comma. So we could see the comma as a separator. But when you now have something like this, whereby there are separators in some values, and there are some values that actually need separators don't have these separators. So you have to clean this data so that you have something that you can actually work with. Right. So that's what we do, and we spend a crazy amount of time on this particular one. Now, the next is you doing data exploration. Well, I think this is I think there's a partial here, given data exploration 15%. It should be more actually. But the whole idea is that once you are done cleaning your data, you start finding, you start making some findings within that data set. I mean, you try to like understand, okay, what is the average age? What is the standard deviation of age? I mean, how much, what is the highest salary in the data set? So at this point, we do all of this. Now, if you jump from data cleaning to modeling and algorithm, there is no way you'll be able to interpret your model perfectly if you've skipped this exploration and analysis part. So some people would ask you, do you need to learn? And I think that's it's actually a valid question. So some will ask you, do you need to learn data analysis before you learn data science? Because in the actual sense, we also do some elements of, in fact, data science is just a data analysis plus some other things. So at this stage, we try to like understand our data, because it is this understanding of your data set that will now make you, to be able to interpret whatever model you have trained, right? So between step 1, step 2, and step 4, you have a lot of meeting, especially if you are not working alone. Even if you are working alone, you have some meeting with yourself, where you just sit down and trying to like be talking alone, okay, or you try to like jot something. So at this stage, you are trying to like, okay, this these are findings that I have made. Okay, let me jot it down. Let me discuss it with my stakeholder. It is different from the whole reporting and presentation. This one is after you are done with the whole stuff, it has been certified. Okay, then you make reports and then you present it to the stakeholders or maybe to your team lead. Now, okay, so the core process of a data science. This is basically everything I've said in the past. Understand the problem, you get some data, you clean and prepare your data set, you explore and do some analysis, then you train an algorithm if it's a project that needs an algorithm to be trained, and then you communicate the insight. So I won't be spending much time on this particular step. Again, I have this noted here. Most of the work happens in step 1 to step 3. Understand the problem, collect data, clean and prepare. Because okay, you've understood the problem, and the stakeholder came with another request that okay, maybe they tweak the scope of the project a little bit. So you have to redefine the problem that you want to solve. Maybe they come with some additional data. You have to clean the data set again. Or maybe they will come with a different data set entirely. They have to clean this again. So the bulk of the work happened between step 1 and step 3, which I will actually show you in the walkthrough in a few slides to go. Then you explore, you analyze, and then you communicate your insights, right? Okay, so again, I said there are the technical parts and the non-technical parts. So you do all of this with a mix of technical and non-technical, because let's say, for instance, the understanding the problem, it is a non-technical. It's just you trying to read through the requirements of the project and trying to jot what the problem actually understands. Now, for collecting the data, it is pure technical. If you are not the one, if it's a project that is, if the data is readily available, then you connect to the source and then you bring it into your project. Or let me just say it is a mix of both, because there are times that okay, you don't have the data set, so you have to sit down, note the actual feeds that But cleaning and prepare, you need a language for this. You could learn Python, you could learn even use it with Excel, depending on what's good for you. So it's a mix of technical and non-technical and the non-technical part. Now, purely to the non-technical part now, you have to be curious. Okay, you have to be curious. Maybe you just noticed an anomaly in your data set. You have to ask why. Why is this there? Maybe you are trying to calculate profit, not the word that I use now, profit. Now, when we hear the word profit, people will say, okay, this is gain. So if you now have a negative value as profit, it means something is wrong. Or maybe nothing is wrong, or maybe it's just a loss interpreted as a profit. So you have to ask why, make your findings until you understand, okay, what's actually going on, right? You have to be able to communicate. In fact, you see this communication part cannot be overemphasized. You have to be able to communicate. You can't go anywhere if you can't communicate. You could have built the best model in the world. If you can't communicate it, then you've done nothing. If you can't communicate it, you've done nothing. You have an average value of 50. You can't communicate it, you have done nothing. So you have to be able to communicate, right? Now, to the next one is you understanding what the business actually needs, because you could have a data set, and from that data set, you can coin multiple problems from that particular data set. So you have to understand what the business actually needs, and you have to be able to spot what's unusual, like the example that I gave earlier. Okay, so because our time is fast spent, we are 45 minutes into the session. Let's just look at a walkthrough. Let's look at a walkthrough and a simple hands-on demo, right? So for this, now I don't expect you to understand the code. So this is not where you learn the code. It is not even possible to learn the code in 1 hour 30 minutes like but just for you to see how a typical data science project works. So we will load a data set, we'll explore it, we'll visualize pattern, and then we'll derive some insights. Okay, so before we go to slide 6, let me open this. Now I have this hands-on project that I have prepared. This environment here, it is called Jupyter Notebook environment. Again, this is not where you understand how the whole of this environment works. This is just for you to see some kind of thinking that actually happens every day. So I don't expect you to understand the line of code, right? Just focus on the questions we are asking and how we are solving those questions with the outputs. Okay, so our journey today is that we will load a data set. We'll ask we'll see what we actually have, what's messy, what pattern we can see, and what someone should do when you see a particular problem. Before I go further, does anybody have any question before we go into this? Or do we want to ask our questions at the end of the session? Hello? Okay, you can unmute and yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, quick one. When you say modeling, can you expatiate on what you mean by modeling? What exactly it means?
Okay. So when I started the session, I said data science is data analytics plus something extra. Now that extra is where the machine learning part comes, or we say machine learning model. Now, when we say modeling, is that we are trying to, how do I make this simple? Take for instance, let me open this. Now, there is something we call algorithms in machine learning. Now, our algorithms are there to, help us find patterns in a data set, right? Find patterns in a data set, then we make predictions with whatever pattern they are found. Now, the pattern will be most likely will be in form of an equation. So now you're trying to make an algorithm understand this pattern. Is you training a model? Take for instance this data set that I have here, which I'll still go back to the start. Take for instance, you are trying to predict sales. Maybe on a certain date, you're trying to predict what sale a particular company would make on a particular day. So you have to train a model. Now, for you to train a model, you need an algorithm, right? So that you're not training a model, like the simple word is that you are trying to make an algorithm understand this whole data set so that when you give it some values that are maybe this is binders, you give it storage, this is west, you give it south. So when you give it a combination of any of these values here, it is able to make a prediction based on that value. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so that's that. So the first thing is that we load the data set. Now, this data set could come from anywhere. It could come from a database. So that's why when some people will say, do you need to learn SQL? Yes, you need to learn SQL to survive as a data scientist. So if the data set is coming in form of a data set, you need to understand how to import this data set from that SQL database into your workspace, into the environment you'll be working with. It could come in form of a spreadsheet. That spreadsheet simply means an Excel or CSV files. When we say CSV files, they are command separated values. Right? So it could also come in form of this. So you have to understand how you can, take this Excel sheet or CSV file into your workspace environment. Now it could come, spreadsheet or CSV. So that's that. And it could come in form of a web API. Now, what do I mean by a web API? your data set can be on a website and you don't want to download it. I mean, you downloading it is like a two-step. You download first, then you load it into your data set. So if that data now change, you have to download again, then load it to your project. So if it's in form of a web API, all you need to do is just connect to that API and then you import it. So you have to, so the data set can come in form of any of this. And in fact, for these actually numbers, your data set could be image, could be an image, right? So the sources could change, the kind of the content of the data set could also change, but the thinking is always the same. If it is on a database, if it is on a spreadsheet, if it's on an API, if it is a CSV, your thought at that particular point is how can you get this data set to this environment? How can you? So that's what we try to answer in step 1. Load the data. So I have this example of a data set here. Don't bother yourself with all of this code. This is me generating a synthetic data. Now, this is what I want you to focus on. Now, after loading my data set, I have 1,200 rows. Now, the rows are, let me open an Excel sheet here. So the rows are the individual records that you have. You see this record like this. This is a row. This one like this, another row. This one like this, another row. Then you have it like that. So that's so meaning that we have 1,200 observations in this particular data set that I have generated. So meaning that I could take this down up till 1,200. So that's the rows. Now the next thing I want to show us here is the columns. Now the columns are the features that we have in that data set. Now what do I mean by features? You see this other date, it is a feature. That is the date when an order is made. This category is another feature. That is the date where, the category of an item. Now this subcategory, it is, okay, under a particular category, we have another category, right? So now when you count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you see that we have 10 of it, meaning that this data set has 10 columns. That's the second thing that I want us to note. Now we have a date range. Date range is that, okay, this data set that we are working with, what duration does it cover? Is it that if there is no date, then it could be that maybe the date has been removed, or the project or the data set is devoid of dates. But if there's a date in it, it's good to actually look at the range that the date actually covers. So for this, I could just interpret it as the data set contains sales for 2001, 2021, and 2022. Yeah, I think that would be correct, because even though this is or you could say 2001, 2002, and new year of, the new year date of 2023. Now you have seen that. The next thing is that look at what you have, because here, I can't see any value here. I just know that I have 1,200 rows. What are the values? I just know that I have 10 columns, but what are the values? I just know that I had 2021 to 2023, but what are the values that we have? So the next thing is that you look at those values. Now, a good practice is that we always check the first few rows, because when you have 1,200 rows, it becomes difficult to go through the individual entries in this environment like this. So a good practice is view the first few rows. Can view the first 5 rows. If I want to view the first 10 rows, all I need to do is change this, and I get the first 10 rows. If I need the first, maybe just the first row, all I need to do is change this command there, and I have, again, don't bother yourself with the code, just see what's happening, right? So the first thing is that you inspect the first few rows. Now, but because merely inspecting the first few rows won't give you the whole idea. So you don't just stop there, right? You don't just stop there. You have to take it a step further. Now, another thing you can do is you can explore. I mean, you can get like a summary statistics of your data set. Now, what do I mean by summary statistics? Now we have sales, we have discounts, and we have profits. What is the maximum profit that this particular company makes? So I get that from the summary statistics. Now, even though I have 1,200 200 records in this particular data set, my summary statistics could also tell me if a particular column has some empty cells. Take for instance, this is count, meaning that the number of records. For sales, it is 1,200. For discount, it is 1,200. But when you look at profit, it is 1,170, meaning that that particular column has 1,200 minus 1,170, that's 30. It has 30 missing values. Now, another thing here is the mean. This is the average sale. This is the average sale is 1,000. The average discount is 17%. The average profit is 180. So you get all of these from that simple summary statistics. Then you don't just use, okay, because I mean this is not the classroom, but just to quickly chip it in. Even though our average is around 1,000, when you look at the maximum and the minimum, you see that it is wide. I mean the minimum is 10, meaning that this particular company, they sell some items that are not that expensive, and they sell some items that are also expensive. So the range is wide. So you don't just use a single value, which is the average, to now represent the whole of this. Now, when you look at the minimum profit, you see that it is negative. Now, even though we say profit, it means that when you have a negative value, it is a loss, right? So you don't interpret this particular value as a profit. It's a loss. So you get all of these from this simple summary statistics. Now, another thing we could do is that we could check the categorical columns. The categorical columns are those columns that contains categories like text. Like text like this, office supply, categories, subcategory, region, segments. So you could check those ones to find the kind of values that you have there. So from here, I know that I have just 3 categories: office supplies, technologies, and furnitures. I have 4 regions: west, east, south, and central. Now, you could have, without you checking, you can assume that, okay, since they say it's region, it could be 5, it could be 6. I mean, you could say like you have west, you have east, you have south, you have north central, you have south. So you don't make all of these assumptions. You have to check your data. I mean, it is what is in your data that you work with. You don't make any assumption. So how will I know? It is by me checking, right? Then we have in this segment. Home office, consumers, and then corporate and products. So that is what this particular supermarket, that is what they sell. Now, from this simple exploration, we have learned that the average salary is around 1,000, even though there's a range. I mean, there's a huge range from 10 to 2,500. The minimum profit is negative, meaning that there's a loss somewhere in this data set. And there are 3 product categories, which is office supply, technologies, and furniture. 4 regions, which is west, east, south, and central, and 3 customer segments, which is home office, consumer, and corporate. So this is how we, explore our data set. So you do it one step at a time. You don't just jump into it. Now, from this simple exploration, I see that, okay, already the data is raising question. Who is losing money? On what product are they losing this money on? So you have to, try to find where the money is losing, what product is not really doing well. I mean, and why are these products not actually doing well? So all of this would be answered in your data set or from your data set. Now, before we solve that, we check for problems, because your data set, won't be perfect. You have a dirty data set or a messy data set, as we could say. Now, what are dirty data sets? When some columns have missing values, like I pointed earlier, it's a problem. You can't work with that. You have to, you have to fill it somewhere. If it's missing by omission, you go to the stakeholder, you tell them that your data set, the data set you are given has some missing values, they fill it for you, or they, you just have to find a resolution on how to fill it. And if they don't have the missing values, based on your findings, you could fill it or you could drop them. If your data set has some outliers are those values that are far. Take for instance, in a class, most students, they score between 50 and 60. You now have one student scoring 1 over 100. Now, this is a problem, right? Because that one is an outlier. It is far from the average performance. So you have to try to understand why there's an outlier, if it's an outlier that makes sense or not. Or take, for instance, you have age. 50, 60 still makes sense. That's someone that is 250 years old. So that is an outlier because it is far from the average values. Then inconsistencies, some values could be spelled differently. You could be getting sex or gender. Some people they will enter male, some will enter M, some will enter female, some will enter F, some will enter male in capital letter, some in small letter. So you have to analyze all of this. So that's the kind of problems that we check. Okay, so from these data sets, we find out that there are 10 rows for regions. 10 cells in region columns are missing. 30 cells in the profit are missing. So you have to fix this. While out of the 1,200, we have 1,160 that have complete rows in them. So you have to do this and you have to fix it. So another thing we check, like I explained, is an outlier. So how do we check outliers? Basically, we could use a box plot. We could use an histogram. Here, I try to use an histogram. Now, do you know there are outliers? How do we know there are outliers using box plots? There is something we call skewness. Now, when you look at this, in fact, it is even more pronounced in this distribution of profits. When you look at this distribution, this histogram, you see that there's like a tail here. Most of the values are, the tall bars, most of them are around 0. They are around this region. Now, when you now have small bars towards the end, or maybe towards the beginning, that's what we call skewness, right? Because I don't want to use some technical words here, just to make it simple. So these values here, they are outliers. They are outliers, this 1,000, because I have huge part of my data set around this 0 to 200. I think I could extend it to 300. And I have these small ones around 1,000. So those ones are outliers, meaning that even though this company make profits, but the profits are not always. So most times they don't make profit, they just break even. Most times they make $100, $150. Although there are times they also make $800 or $1,000 as profit, but those ones are one-off, right? I also see that they have some values before this $0 mark. Those values are the loss, because when you have negative profit, it means loss. And this red line is where they broke even. You purchase an item for 50 naira and you sold it for 50 naira. That is break even. You didn't make profit, you didn't make any loss. But we could see that most times they make profits because the loss here are not that much. Okay, so what did we learn here? Sales are right skewed. This is what I mean by right skewed. When you have this tail, when you have each part of the data set on one side, you now have small ones, maybe to the left or to the right, but not on both sides, right? So that's skewness. Then a significant chunk of the transactions are loss making, which is what I explained. Now, and we also have missing values in profits and region, which is what I showed us earlier, right? Now, we have seen that this company, they make loss. What is causing this loss? Is it the discounts, or is it that there's a specific product that causes this loss? So you have to also look into that. So you don't just stop there. And as you are looking at it, you have to be, you have to be jotting it somewhere. That's why you see this small comments that I have here, because that's what you use in the end to make your reports, to communicate with whoever has given you this project. And even if it's a personal project, I mean, that's what you decide if you have actually done something or not. Now imagine that I just have this chart and I don't have anything like this. If a non-technical person is looking at this, there's no way they can interpret this. So that's why you need all of this as small notes, so that if you are not there, somebody else can actually read what you've done, right? So the next thing is that we find patterns. And this is where we start asking those questions. Which products, categories are most profitable? What is the total profit by each category? What is the profit margin by category? So we have this. Now, when you look at this chart, we see that office supplies has the total profit, and it also has the total profit margin, followed by technology, the total profit, and it also has the total profit margin, and then we have furniture as next. So the total profit and the profit margin, they actually say the same thing. In this case, it's not always like this. You could have office supply having total profits, but technology having the total profit, having a higher profit margin. Now, what do I mean by that? It's just like you making a distinction between actual values and percentages. Now, an example is that I can sell, maybe they buy an office supply for 10,000 and they sold it for 10,000 and they sold it for 10,500. The profit there is 500, right? Now that 500, when you punch it to your calculator, 500 divided by 10,000. That is just 5% profit. Now let's look at what's the second example I have here? Let's look at maybe a piece of furniture. Let's say they bought that piece of furniture for, let's say they bought it for 700 and they sold it for 800. So that's 100 divided by 700 as the profit. So even though the profit here, I mean, it is 100 and this is 500, 500 and 100, they are not the same thing. 500 is bigger than 100, but the percentage profit there is different. This is 14% percentage profit and this is 5%. So you have to understand how to interpret these numbers. Again, here we are, I don't want to say lucky. No, it's not luck. It's just what is in the data set that the category with the highest profit also have the highest profit margin, and the one with least profit also have the least profit margin, but it is not always the same. And when it is not the same, you have to be able to interpret this finding, right? Then, which subcategories are dragging down the profit? Because I mean, looking at this, you see that this follows a unique pattern. So maybe it is not from the category itself, maybe it is from the subcategories. So here, and I have this. For the subcategories now, I have copiers, art, labels, accessories, paper, binders, till tables. Now tables, it's on it's a subcategory under furniture. So meaning that for table, even though they are making profit in other categories, they are making losses under tables. That's why this is red, and that's why it is negative. So you won't know this if you've not gone through your data. You won't know this if you've not done any data exploration. So the next thing is that, okay, you have found this. What should you do next? Should you make recommendation? Is it that the sell table at a particular point in time? Is it that the store where the tables are located, maybe people don't really need tables in that particular store? Is it that the price of the tables are too much? I mean, relative to the household that are located in that particular vicinity. So, I mean, you can interpret this in many ways, but your interpretation has to be in line with what is in your data. You can't just assume that maybe these tables now, maybe they have a store in the West. So you can't just assume that maybe people in the West do not have money. So they are not making, so they are not really buying tables. Because when you look at your data set, there's nothing that talks about income. It is just sales. So when you're not saying people in particular place are not making money, now you're not introducing something that is not in your data into your data. So you have to be careful with how you interpret this value. So whatever interpretation you are making has to come from your data. Okay. Then we have someone saying something. Okay.
Hi, Redwan. Can you hear me? This is Chinere.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. So please, can you just stand up in the next 2 minutes so we can dive
2
into
minutes.
another section?
Okay,
you.
yeah, I will. So we have all of these. You can check the average profit per transaction, which is also coming from the data. I mean, look at the question that I have here. Is it that okay, this particular item that is making loss, is the loss influenced by discounts? So you could also check that. And from what I have here, you see that when they didn't give any loss, people actually buy a particular product. I mean, any discount, people bought those products than when they gave high. So sales is not influenced by discounts from this. So we have I mean, my time is has been cut short. So you have to try to understand all of. So your data set has time in it. So you have to like try to even understand pattern by time. Maybe there's a particular time or there's a particular period where this company where they make sales, right? So you have to also visualize and then try to understand if there's a particular time where they make sales, if there's a particular time where they make profits, then you make recommendation. All of these findings that you have done, what should you do? Right. And again, this is one of the most important steps in your project. If the previous step you've gotten it right and you didn't get it right here, you have not done anything. So here I have these recommendations. Out of the 1,200 items that we have in the data set, just 84 gave them loss. So they now have to, make some maybe make some changes based on this. Then so I have some questions to reflect on. Then the next step after all of this, if your project involves you training a machine learning algorithm, you have to do that, which is not covered in this particular notebook. Maybe the next time we could look into that. So that's everything we have under our demo. Then is data science for you. If you're the type that love asking questions, it actually makes sense for you to dive into data science. If you like finding patterns, it makes sense for you to dive into data science. And I have all of these other points. Also, these skills are actually you could learn it. So maybe you don't know how to ask questions, you can learn it. I mean, it is not something that we are born with. No, most of us actually learn all of this. So whether you love doing it, as long as you are open to learning, this is it's not difficult to you. And most beginners, they start learning with Excel and SQL, and which actually makes sense. We have some tools that we use in data science. We use Excel, we use Google Sheets, we use SQL. If your data set is on an API or on a website, we scrape to get this data set into our projects. We use Python, we use R a lot. Python and R basically they are the major tools that we use, but they are not limited to that. For modeling, we have an scikit-learn, we have TensorFlow, which we use for modeling. For visualizations, you could use Power BI, and you could use any of these data based on Python. So I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much. If you have so we can go to the next segment. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Ridwan. Thank you very much. So we're going to take questions in the next few minutes. But before we dive into the question, we want to do something very important. So Ridwan, please can you stop sharing? I want to share something now. Thank you.
Just where is it? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Welcome.
much. I believe that let's enjoy this section. Okay, so we want to talk about Amdoranalytics and the program that we offer here at Amdoranalytics. So we have another section starting in the next 45 minutes. In the next 45 minutes, so we have project management and AI engineering. So for those of you that are here, if you still want to join, please do wait behind and join the project management. Now, project management is not about coding. You know, when we started this, I mentioned earlier that, you know, for people that want to code, data science is for you and AI engineering is for you. But they feel like maybe after this section, you look at it and be like, okay, I don't think I have this brain to carry out these things, right? I don't think it's possible for me to code. Then please wait behind for the project management starting in the next 45 minutes. The notification is already ongoing on our groups, and as well AI engineering. If you want to test the difference between project management, data science and AI engineering, please join AI engineering in the next 45 minutes. The link and everything will be shared. Now let's talk about Amdoranalytics. For those of you that are well convinced about Amdoranalytics and data science program, trust me, data science is one of the best, best in-demand career skill out there. In fact, all the program though, right? So what we do here at Amdoranalytics, the programs that we offer, I'm going to take that again for people that are just joining. Okay, so here are the programs that we offer at Amdoranalytics: data analytics, cyber security, HR analytics, AI engineering, data engineering, data science, project management, and we had our AI data analytics bootcamp. So today we are having 3, and one is ongoing at the moment. Okay, so let's talk about why Amdoranalytics and why should you register your program with Amdoranalytics. So last month we did something. We myself and my team was okay. You know what? Let's do something because we don't want to welcome a lot of people in the tech ecosystem. We don't want people to have this barrier that I want to transition into the tech ecosystem, but I don't have the money. Money is the problem. If possible for us to cut our growth agenda. So I want to cut the cost so that everybody can make it to tech ecosystem. So the prices are very, very, very affordable. So at the moment, you're offering 90% discount. We did it last month, but after that last month program, a lot of people reached out to us and they prayed that, please, can you guys extend this thing? So we are extending it from this month and next month again. So the 90% discount that we're offering here at Amdoranalytics is still much available, but trust me, it is just limited because we have done it last month, right? So what we're trying to do now, we are offering it but for the first set of people that are registered, because we don't want, we don't want much number of people to, to disturb the classroom. We just want few people that will register so that we'll be able to coordinate the classes. In a class where you have over 1,000 people, I don't know how you're going to coordinate that class, but I believe class where you have less number of students, you'll be able to coordinate the class and monitor the students' growth as well. So now, what are we doing? So for data analytics, right? Pay attention. For HR analytics, data engineering, data science, project management, business analysis. This is at the rate of 100,000 naira. That is about $73. Okay, $73. Now, if you are paying for cyber security, if you want to register for cyber security or AI engineering, is at the rate of 150,000 naira. 150,000 naira. Now, for this data science that you've learned today, trust me, you want to dive into data science, go and make research and see how much they will charge you to, to transition into that career path. Is a whole lot of money. I mean, a whole lot of money. Here at Amdoranalytics, very, very, very subsidized price. So now, instead of you to pay that 1 million naira, so we are offering it at the rate of 100,000 naira. That's what we are doing here at Amdoranalytics. Can you please clap for us? Celebrate us now. It's not easy for us to do this, right? So for us to do this, trust me, I'm telling you nothing but the truth. It's not easy. It's costing us a lot of money to run the brand, a lot of money to, a lot of money, but we don't mind those things because we really want a lot of people to transition into the tech career path, especially people that feel like, okay, I want to do this thing. I sincerely want to do this thing, but I don't have the money. You can. And let me tell you something, one amazing thing, right? Someone called me yesterday from UK and be like, I don't
Hello.
Okay, please give me a second. I'm trying to join back with my second
Okay.
device. But can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Please confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, you're
All
audible.
right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Ridwan. Just give me a second, please. Okay, I think I'm back now. Yeah, apologies. We are in Nigeria. Ecolodi precisely. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so this price for all our program, this is the price. So if you really love your neighbor, your friends, your relatives, okay, I think this is the best time to show them the love. Pay for people. I know one of our students, someone last month paid for about 3 people. Okay, she paid for 3 people, so you can pay for someone to register for this to start their program, right? So now let me tell you something that you need to know about Amdoranalytics. Go home with this. Please pay attention. I need you to go home with this. You want to know this about Amdoranalytics. It's beyond training. Like, it's beyond the practical training. It's beyond the come and learn and go, right? It's not about theory. What we do here at Amdoranalytics is practical program. So what we do here at Analytics is practical program, right? So I need you to understand why you need to register with Amdoranalytics. Another thing again that you need to understand about Amdoranalytics is industry standard tools that you're going to be learning with, right? And our instructors, the instructors, very standard guys, as you can see Ridwan, right? Ridwan is a very, very, very very, very sound data scientist, right? So these are the people that are going to be training you. Another thing again you should understand or know about Amdoranalytics is mentorship session. Now, our programs are Saturdays and Sundays, live training where you're going to be meeting with your facilitator. The person is going to be guiding you through, right? The person is going to be telling you, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. So you're able to excel. I really love to show Ridwan's feedback that we got from students. I'm going to try to see if we are going to get that. So let me see. Okay, so we can see facilitators written form. I think this is live. I'm not sure everyone has seen this. So this is live. Let's see his own
I'm not
feedback.
actually.
What his student are saying about him. Let's see what his student is saying. What do you say?
I said I've actually not seen it before. Like,
Yeah, of course I know that you've not seen it. Okay, so let's see what his own students are saying about it. I think this is live. Nobody's going to edit anything. So you know that these guys are very sound individuals. These are people that are going to be guiding you. These are people that will help you to transition into the career path. So while we're waiting for that to load, so let's move into another thing. So another thing again you need to understand about Amdoranalytics program is beginners friendly program. Beginners friendly program. You don't need any prior knowledge before starting Amdoranalytics program. You don't need to, maybe you are a data scientist or you're a computer scientist, all those backgrounds, you don't need them. What you need is yourself, your commitment. That's what I always tell people. What you need is your commitment. Another thing again you need to understand about Amdoranalytics program is the certificate that will add to that will boost your profile, right? That will boost your profile. So you share your certificate with someone else and say, yes, Amdoranalytics, I know them because their certificate is globally recognized. Okay. So another thing is portfolio, building standard projects. Building standard projects. For you now, if you register with Amdoranalytics, you register for your data science program. So you all your code and everything, your projects, you have a GitHub where you're going to be pushing everything. And when somebody reach out to you and say, oh, please, can you share what you've done with me? The person to be able to see something. So when you share your portfolio, maybe your GitHub link with the person, you should be able to see that, oh, you have been doing amazing thing for yourself. And what you are learning here at Amdoranalytics is hands-on experience. Another thing is community, of course, community that are going to be supporting you in your learning. So let's see if we can get that. I don't know why my screen is. I'm trying to see why this is hanging, but let's give it some seconds to load. Apologies. Why? Okay, so I don't know why it's not loading. I wanted us to see Ridwan's feedback, the student feedback, but I want to show you something on LinkedIn. I want to show you something. This is from our student, one of our students. She posted this thing today. I just saw this thing and said, I'm going to share it on my profile. Okay, just give us a second. The network is really bad here. It's very bad. Just give us like a minute to load. I'm loading my LinkedIn. Okay. I don't know why this is taking time. So let's continue. Let's continue. So the program is 12 weeks. 12 weeks program. Our courses are Saturdays and Sundays, and registration is ongoing. Registration is ongoing. All you need to do is to reach out to us. My colleagues are on this call, and we are all on. If you're in our WhatsApp group, all you need to do is to just go to our WhatsApp group, type, how do I register? And people will reach out to you. So this is our students. Because here at Amdoranalytics, we believe in building in the public, right? So you can see this is our student. She's an AI engineering student. So this is her 21 days. This was posted like 3 hours ago. So you can see her 21 days of growth challenge. So I'm trying to make sure that you're seeing it from your end. So we didn't ask anybody to say anything about Amdoranalytics. I went on LinkedIn and I saw this, like, now, what Amdoranalytics is really, like, what are we into? Okay, she mentioned that Amdoranalytics is an EdTech company. She mentioned the programs that we are offering. This is the second page. Like, I was like, okay, this is from our student. We never ask you to go and write anything about us, never. If it's from your heart, you want to do it, that's fine. So what makes them different? Now, pay attention to what she said, that what makes us different. She said, practical learning, mentorship, career guidance. Now, it's not just learn and go. It's more than learn, practice, prepare, and prepare for real jobs. So this is what our students posted about us today. So if others can go ahead and tell something, tell the world about Amdoranalytics, it simply means that we are doing well. Okay, so I don't know how best to convince you, but let me tell you something. Amdoranalytics is that right place where you can learn everything that you need to learn about any career path of this career path: data analytics, data science, business analysis, HR analytics, project management. Like I mentioned, project management is starting in the next 30 minutes with AI engineering. So the links are going to be going on. What you need to do is to join and still hear from those guys. You know that what we have here are experts. I mean, people that are going to be training you when you join the program. They are expert tutors, like very, very, very good guys. So I think that's all for data science. So this is not the last data science bootcamp we're going to be having. We'll have another one in the next few weeks. So we'll have till the start of the cohort. The cohort is starting May. The cohort is starting ending of May. All you need to do is to make payments now, because of course, when we get to a certain number that we need, we are going to close registration. So all you need to do is to make payments and send us the payments proof when we start your enrollment process. So we're going to take just one question, so that we can allow people that are starting their project management to join the call. Okay, Olugbenga Olatunji, your hands are raised. So let's take.
Thank you. Yeah, you mentioned Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. You didn't mention the time because you say from Nigeria, and people in diaspora, sometimes the time does not, connect together. So
yes, I can hear you. I mentioned Saturday and Sunday.
So I know Saturday and Sunday. I'm talking about time now. Saturday, is it going to be in the morning Nigerian time, like that? So that
Jesus.
wherever you
I
are.
think my network is really bad.
Okay,
Hello,
I think I
can't hear him.
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me. Hello.
Can someone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So let me quickly give you an answer to that. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So the training holds on Saturdays.
You can type if you can.
Saturdays and Sundays, like she mentioned. Then for the timing, it's 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Nigerian time.
5 p.m. Nigerian time.
Yes, to 7:30.
Okay. All right. So Okay, all right. So that's good. Then one last thing I just want to ask, just to clarify. I'm a little bit confused between data analytics and then data science. So I want to know the difference, what so that I can take the right decision on what I need to go for.
Okay, so basically, like I mentioned at the beginning of the session, for data analytics, basically, when you have a data set, you try to find patterns, you try to make recommendations. Now, we do all of this also in data science, just that we go a little bit extra, whereby we make predictions and we train machine learning algorithms to be able to make these predictions and the like. So that's just the simple difference I can give you on this call right now. And
Okay,
then
that's
the tools for data analytics, you use Excel, you use Power BI, you do SQL also, and then maybe a little bit of Python. But for data science, we do Excel, SQL, Python, and then machine learning now. So that's the difference.
okay, okay. So that means it will include Power BI or Tableau on data science, right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, 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 okay. So that's different. So that means if I'm coming for data science, I'll be more of SQL, Python, something like that, and then
Yeah,
machine.
that's correct. That's correct.
Okay. But if I'm going on data analytics, then now we'll focus on visualization, which is Power BI or Tableau or stuff like
I,
that. Then
I
something.
wish it's easier actually to answer that question because I don't train data analytics. I train data science.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
While we are waiting, I think the next person could go for it if it's a
Okay,
question.
please, I have a question. Can I go on?
Yeah,
Mhm.
go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so when you were teaching us, thank you for that wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
So when you were teaching us, you said something about sometimes we have incomplete data.
Yeah.
So how do we know when a data is complete, that a data is sufficient enough to proceed for the analysis or to clean the data?
Okay, so basically everything is just a mix of the technical and non-technical knowledge. Now, when you have an incomplete data, first, how do you know? When you have, let's say, for instance, you have 1,200 rows in the data set, for instance, now, if you now have some columns that have missing rows, that have missing values, that's an incomplete data. And I think that's how you know that's clear. So now, how do you now know? Should you put one? You can't proceed like that. You have to clean it up. I think the question is what method should you use to clean it? Now, the very first thing you do is that meet the project owner. Inform them. Most likely, they would have the missing data that you can use. But if they don't have, they will now have some missing some data imputation techniques that we could use. You could input by mean, you could input by median, you could input by mode, and you could drop them completely. But I can't go into the details on the call because our time is fast spent. But again, it's a mix of the technical and the non-technical. So there are some projects that you could just decide to drop the missing rows and it should be fine. But if you do that from another data set, you will be, you'd have lost a huge part of your data set. So I think does that answer your question a bit?
Yes, thank you very much. Please, one more thing. I want to ask that